And we're live. Welcome back to another episode of Time TV. We're here with Rob, fueled by Chai, and we're building dashboards. We're getting AI to trade for us. So we're in for some very useful things if you are lazy and want to become a better trader by just using AI. No, not financial advice.
We were joking about are we becoming more lazy
Mhm.
with AI, but I actually feel like I'm hustling harder now because of AI. I've got, three different coding windows open, all doing different things,
Mhm.
and I'm multitasking between all of these different things that have AI working on me. So I feel like I tell people I feel like I've gone from being a software developer to managing, or really, I guess, micromanaging a small team of software developers.
I mean that's the trend. You have to stay just a few steps ahead of AI before it takes your job. It's it's that type of cycle right now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think the people that are going to do awesome with AI are the ones that, embrace it, try to figure out how to best make use of it for whatever problem it is that you're trying to solve, or you have an idea in your head and you otherwise wouldn't have been able to create something, right, without the help of a tool like this.
Mhm.
So I always encourage people just experiment with it, see what it can do. If you're working on something, you have a question, need help uh, analyzing something, it's great to just jump in, ask it stuff, see what it can do, and kind of go from there.
Now, if you want to turn that into like a little hook, like for people, like you need to get started on AI today. Here's why.
Here's why. Okay, you need to get started on AI today. Here's why.
All right, now we'll
We're
edit
gonna
it back. That's the clip.
Okay, we're gonna be just throwing a lot of hooks into this live stream. I feel like today.
We kind of have to. We're gonna make the clips more engaging and more concise. It's hard to get context from like a longer sentence, so we open that with the hook. That's what we do on today's stream. We are clip farming. So welcome to the clip farming
Well,
AI workshop.
yeah, exactly. And not only that, but you're gonna have AI helping you out with doing the clipping.
Yeah, yeah. So we're getting there because that's like one of the most time consuming things about streams and editing and going into the files and create clips. It's very time consuming. So we're gonna shorten that
Yeah,
up with AI. This is a full AI workflow now.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think that's something people don't realize, and even with trading, you don't realize necessarily how time consuming these tasks are because you just see somebody post on X about whatever. You don't realize how much time went into just editing those clips and that content and stuff, and then you don't realize how much work actually went into creating the ideas behind the content and actually creating the videos themselves and everything to support it. So with trading, you've got a lot of testing, you've got analysis, you've got research, and all that kind of gets glossed over a bit. I feel like with a lot of the creators that are posting on X, they all make it look so easy, right? And
Yeah.
even with AI, it's not, right?
Yeah, I love going into the comments and replies to see like who's calling out this if it's bullshit.
Right, yeah. I don't like to be a hater
I
on
do.
X.
I do.
It
I
just
love being a hater. It's so much fun.
I mean, it ends up irritating me, but I was like, I don't want to have that bad energy. I mean, constructive criticism is fine because
Mhm.
I sometimes will ask something that
Mhm.
it's like, oh, hey, like, what about this? Somebody posted like, okay, here's like the short trade of a lifetime, right?
Mhm.
Placing some short. You're going to make generational wealth on this trade if you do it. But if you short something, you can only get 100% return on your initial trade. Like it can only go to zero,
Mhm.
right? Well, usually it can only go to zero. And the only way to make more than that, make more than 100% is to continue shorting it all the way down. And then you're just increasing your risk exponentially. And if there's a short squeeze, then you're going to get blown up. So I pointed that out in this person's post.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, I didn't get a comment back from them, but some other people was like, "Oh yeah, that's something I hadn't, thought about." But I wouldn't post something like, "Oh man, this idea sucks." Like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That's our next stream. The dumbest thing I ever heard. Where we just go over all these posts that you're replying to.
Right. Well, that actually would might not be a bad idea. You can have AI go out and look at X, right, and say, "Okay, here's some shady posts or some posts where the premise might not be, what the author is claiming that it is."
Mhm.
And then you go out and maybe point out their mistakes.
Because you even mentioned that reply did help at least one person, so it is
Yeah,
helpful.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's the thing is like, okay, you're not just going out there and hating, you're providing some sort of value, in the process of hate. In the process of hating, you're at least providing some sort of value to somebody else, right? Kind of pointing out the and I'm all about that too. Like if somebody wants to, if I'm posting about like market making or something I'm researching, okay, somebody writing "you suck," this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard is not really going to be very helpful. But somebody's pointing out like, hey, why aren't you doing this? Like, oh, you're not even looking at this. Why not? And it might not be something I'm aware of, right? So that sort of thing is actually pretty helpful. So open to constructive criticism.
Okay, maybe we stream on Saturdays and we'll call it Hater Days. Parentheses constructive.
constructive
Yeah,
constructive criticism.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get AI to be more critical of me too, because anybody that's kind of been playing around with AI probably knows at this point it thinks a lot of things that you want to try are really good ideas, and a lot of them aren't. You know, so trying to kind of like prompt Claude to be a little more critical,
Can you share
but
one
not
of
for
your
the
bad
sake of being
ideas?
critical.
Can you share one of the
What's
ideas
it?
that
No, can I share
Claude
one of my
roasted?
bad ideas?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Oh man, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I did see somebody. I mentioned this on a previous live stream. Somebody purposely gave Claude a bad idea, just to see what they would say.
Mhm.
And it was like, oh, I want newspapers. I have this business idea. I want to deliver newspapers by carrier pigeons, and charge $50 a newspaper. And the AI was like, oh, that's a great idea. People are, very would love to actually have a newspaper, and delivering it by a carrier pigeon, that is amazing because nobody else is doing that. And the price point is great because people would be willing to pay a premium to have this service. And so it's going on and on and on about why this is a great business idea, but none of the challenges of it. Like, okay, first of all, how are you going to train the pigeons? How are you going to get a pigeon to lift a newspaper in the first place? It's got to be a pretty small newspaper. And then $50, for the service, is somebody really going to be willing to pay that? So this was an extreme example where somebody purposely gave AI an idea that wasn't going to be good just to see if it would validate that. So yes, that there's some you got to be very careful about with AI, and
Yeah.
the creators of these models know about this issue.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
saw another viral one where it was like they ask AI, "Should I drive my car to the car wash? It is 100 feet away."
yeah, yes, yes. This is there's a guy on TikTok and Instagram that I see
Oh,
he
he
has
trolls. He
his
just
phone
trolls
set up.
AI. Yeah.
Yeah, he asks it random questions like, "Would you kill Hitler or would you kill all of
Mhm.
AI?" And forcing it to make decisions like that. And yeah, I saw the car wash. I saw the car wash one. So some of the models got it right. Like some of the AI models did say, "Hey, you're gonna need your car." Well, if the purpose of the going to the car wash is to get your car washed, you are going to need to take your car there, even though it's only 100 feet away.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
I think a majority of the models said, "Oh, you're better off just walking there." Now, the thing that I don't know though, I don't remember, is did he specify that he was going to the car wash to get his car washed? Because
He did not.
I mean, Yeah. So if you didn't say that, like AI doesn't necessarily know if he like if he works at the car wash,
Right.
if you need to pick something up at the car wash.
Yeah, that is
So
a good
that
point.
that might have been an important detail.
All right. Let's jump into some of the stuff you've been building. Now, you've had an AI news trading bot for a while. How's that been doing?
So there's two versions. I got two flavors going. So there's a Bitcoin version. That was kind of the original one that Steamboat and I were discussing pretty early on.
Mhm.
And that one started out good and has kind of been in flip-flopping on positions.
Oh,
So
sorry.
basically this AI,
Real quick.
yeah,
Your audio is
yeah.
coming from the camera instead of the microphone.
Oh, it's not coming from the
I just
microphone.
realized that if you could change it in your audio settings,
All right, how's this?
massive.
Wow, okay. Oh, the camera's just
It's all good.
flashing at me when I
Yeah.
do the gestures.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's interesting. I had this microphone set up for a while, so I don't know why I didn't pick
I
up.
think
But
it's just the setting in Restream. If sometimes it doesn't save it because it shows up as a guest.
oh, okay, okay. Anyway, okay. So what the AI trading bot. So the bot goes out every 8 hours, pulls headlines from a number of free news providers, and then it gives all these. So this is written in Python. Gives all these headlines to AI and says, "Hey, is this bullish or bearish for Bitcoin?" And give me a confidence score. Now it takes those and it says, okay, it's this is very bullish news. I'm a contrarian, so I want to sell that, you know, and vice versa. When the news is bullish, I want to short it. So that's basically what the model's been doing, and it's always in the market. It's either long or short. So when the sentiment flips, it will reverse its position and go the opposite way. So it's always in the market. There's no risk management other than it's trading fairly small position sizes, about 25% of whatever the account equity is what it's going to be taking as its position. So not in any danger probably of blowing up, even though there's no stop losses or anything like that. So yeah, we can. So based, and then the other cool thing that I had this do is it produces a file that kind of consolidates all of the trading signals. Like here's the summary of the headlines, and here's why I'm bullish or bearish, and then it prints out the results of each trade. So I took Claude and I created a skill in Claude that takes those files and creates a nice, pretty dashboard that kind of shows me what the equity curve is, what the drawdown is, and then a summary of the different news events over the past few days
I think this is a
in a
good
nice,
time.
pretty graph.
This is a good time to take a look at that
Let's
dashboard.
let's go over let's go over to the screen share here. Now I might have to. Oh, we'll get to this one in a minute
Mhm.
here. Let's go over to Claude though. All right, so this is the dashboard. Now the cool thing is once you got something you really like with Claude, and this is the desktop version of Claude, you can say, "Hey, I want to create a skill," and a skill allows you just to pick something from the skills drop down and just run it whenever you want. You don't have to like type the prompt over and over again every time you want to run it. You just give it the skill, you pick the skill, and then for this in this case, the skill requires me to upload two files to Claude, the trades and the headlines that it ran. And then it takes a few minutes to generate everything because it's going through the files, it's basically creating HTML and JavaScript behind the scenes here and then once it's done, it will render it to the screen. So it's pretty cool because it will show over time the equity curve of the strategy, kind of where it's at right now, open P&L, the max drawdown, and then it'll show that a summary of the news headlines and whether it thought it was bullish or bearish. So if you want to kind of go back and debug, okay, why did it flip from bullish to bearish yesterday? You can click on here and see what the headline is, and this was at the New York Open. Oh, this was this morning. So now And then it produces a heat map here of bullish versus bearish. So if you want to see like if you know it was like very bearish during these sessions here. This is by date, and this is by New York, Asia, and Europe, and then the actual trades themselves. So it started out great. BTC was trending, but we've kind of been in this range bound condition for the past, few weeks.
Now, I wanted to ask, um, could you also evaluate the news sources that have been making these decisions and which one has been most profitable?
So I will have to look at the code to see what news sources are in there. So I basically picked free anything that had free API.
Mhm,
And what it does is it doesn't take any specific news source altogether, or kind of on its own. So it takes the headlines from say 10 different news sources and it gives them all to the AI prompt,
mhm.
and it says, "Hey, look at all these headlines, evaluate them." And it doesn't tell AI what news came from where. So I
Because
can't answer, if one's better than the other.
I'm thinking, like, what if one gets it all right and one all wrong, and then that
Oh, I
uses that
see.
to weight the decisions?
Yeah, yeah. That could be an interesting analysis, but that would you could do that. But if it were me that was working on this, what I would do then is I'd have my script separate the headlines out by news provider, and then give those to Claude individually
Mhm,
to rate the bullish or bearishness, and then save that and judge it by the results of that. Now the other thing too is you're probably going to get better news quality with paid sources as well. Because the other thing I wanted to try to do was scrape X or Reddit,
mhm, mhm.
and the problem is you can't
Too much
really get a
noise.
whole lot. Yeah, not only too much noise, but you can't get a whole lot of information in just the free API version of those. So if you want to do a deep dive into Reddit, um, and if you really want to do a deep dive into X, it's going to cost quite a bit of money to do that. Now, the thing is, if you want to do something on a higher frequency, right, this is just looking 3 times a day to adjust. But if you want to like get in when something happens, you're going to have a paid news source that is more immediate and gives you streaming news. So I think X would be awesome if you wanted to like jump on the next shit coin that was pumping or
Mhm, mhm.
dumping, you know, and kind of get tipped off on when the buzz for a particular coin starts picking up,
Could you
and
also
then you could
just
have AI
monitor
kind of.
like news accounts on X and see what they're posting?
So that might be possible. So the thing is that with the API, the API is very expensive, meaning
Mhm.
you're programmatically connecting to
Right,
X.
I forgot X's has the
Now,
most expensive API.
yeah, X is very, very expensive, $5,000 a month for their API. Now, Claude has a Chrome plugin, and in theory, you could try to scrape the X accounts. So you could have Claude on Chrome, on X, scrolling through. Now, the downside is it can probably only do one account at a time, or maybe you could create a list and have it go through that and kind of curate it for you. Um, but you're gonna have constantly refreshing the
Mhm,
page
mhm.
to get the new posts and stuff like that. So it's possible it's not going to be nearly as fast as the API is going to be, nor as like comprehensive, but you might be able to do it. So this is one of those things where it's like you have an idea, you know, and an hypothesis, and you can use AI to test that out, right?
Can we turn that into a hook? Most people don't understand this about building with AI.
Most people don't understand this about building AI apps,
There we go. All
but
right, keep going.
most people don't understand this about building AI apps, but You can test things out that you would have never been able to test out on your own before.
All right. And then, and then we keep going. Anytime I see a little opportunity, we're gonna we're gonna take it.
Yes, yes. All right. So this is the Bitcoin
Hmm.
model here. So we can see we kind of been range bound the last couple weeks,
Hmm.
between like 70, what is it, between like 73 and 77. So I think this thing is going to thrive when the asset hits a trend. So whatever it's monitoring, if it goes trending, then it's gonna do good. If it's range bound, I think it's gonna kind of always be on the wrong side. So that's another AI thing too, to try to figure out, okay, is this thing trending right now or is it range bound? Because if it's range bound, then maybe you flip the signals. If it's bullish, you go long. If it's bearish, you go short. So now we're kind of seeing the opposite thing with oil. Oil's been The oil trader's looking awesome at the moment,
Hmm.
and and it's tough because you got freaking politicians, you know,
Insider trading.
insider trading
Yeah.
this thing, moving the market to make money for themselves,
Hmm.
right? So this is tough because the market in oil has been just crazy the last month or so,
Hmm.
right? There's just been huge moves. Who knows what who knows what Trump's going to say that causes it to drop 10% or go up 10%, in a matter of minutes. And so this one I thought was going to be tougher, but so far it's actually holding up pretty well. And surprisingly, it has been bearish. It was bearish for a very long time because it was looking at everything OPEC was saying. It said that, okay, well, yeah, you got this stuff going on with Iran and the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Yeah, so what? That's bullish for sure. But it's saying OPEC also wants to raise the quota and stuff like that. So it's like it said I'm going to be bearish on the price of oil, and so because it's contrarian, then it goes long, and it had a great week
Hmm.
last week. Went from 89 to 104.
Ooh.
Now, this is pulling. By the way, this is pulling the price data from Paradex. It's using Paradex's Brent crude contract. So had another great day. And actually, it wasn't even in the market for a full day. It was 16 hours yesterday or the day before when it went from 106 to 111. So caught a 5% move there, another 2% move, and now we're long again at 109. So we'll see. We'll see how this signal plays out. We can go take a look and see why it decided to flip here. So, oh, it's talking about UAE exiting
Hmm.
OPEC.
Hmm.
I don't know if you saw that or
I
not,
did.
but
That is a really good summary.
yeah, that was pretty big news. So, talking about willingness to increase output and supply abundance themes. Now, the supply isn't abundant, right? I mean, maybe the supply is abundant, but they can't get it to the market is the problem because the strait is still closed.
Hmm.
But we'll have to see how this signal plays out. But overall, and it's pretty crazy. I mean, there's been almost no drawdown on this strategy so
That's really
far.
good.
So yeah.
Now,
So another example here how you can kind of use news to your advantage and using AI to help figure out how to trade it.
now, can we do a quick breakdown of like how you built this and the things that went wrong?
Oh, sure, yeah. Okay, so how I built this, even though I've been doing software development for a while, I have been using Claude Code and Codex a lot. Codex is the OpenAI coding model, and it just allows you to create stuff a lot faster, and it is way, way, way better than it was last year. So last year I was cursing at Claude Code, I was cursing at Codex because I was writing stuff myself. I was having Claude help me out on some stuff, and it was just screwing stuff up. And this is one of those things like, why did you do this? And then you point it out, and it's like, oh, my bad. Let me go back and fix that. And then I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna have to go fix it myself, right? And I had to spend like a month fixing something that Claude broke. Now things have changed dramatically with the new models, the coding models that these companies have released, and what you're able to create now is is amazing. So I had Claude help me write this. And so I basically gave Claude, okay, here's what I want to do. I want to trade the news, right? So first thing is I don't want to use AI to make all the decisions and do the trading because I don't want to like just burn tokens. So anything that can be done in code itself, where I can just run it on my machine or run it on an AWS server, I have a preference for doing that because I'm
Yeah.
going to conserve tokens.
First off, amazing plan, because I think when most people jump into AI development, they don't consider the amount of tokens they're using. If they're using an
Mm-hmm.
API, they don't set limits, and they're in for hundreds and potentially thousands of dollars by just
Yeah.
letting the AI run.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you don't necessarily know that until you actually get into it and you're like, damn, this is using a lot of
Yeah.
tokens. Yeah, I've been playing around with Perplexity. I don't know if you've heard of
Mhm.
that model, but it's pretty cool. It's it's a way to get an AI agent to do stuff on a schedule. It's kind of like OpenClaw, except a commercial version that has a lot more built-in security and a better sandbox and stuff like that. So a lot less likely to go rogue than OpenClaw is. But anyway, they give you 10,000 tokens a month. I'm like, holy cow, that's so many tokens. I'm never gonna. It's gonna take me. I don't even know if I can go through that many tokens a month. Well, I was done in like 5 days. I had gone through all my tokens. So I had created an app that like, I send it a Telegram message, a message on Telegram, and then it goes and if I miss my paper, it will go fill out the missed paper um, form on their website. So I didn't have to go do it every time. And I realized every time I do that, it costs me 1,500 tokens, you know. So I can only do this a number of times a month. And then just creating that app, probably burned, I don't know, 5 or 6 thousand tokens itself. So yes, if you don't have to use AI for something, do it programmatically. Some things are just better done programmatically anyway, meaning like create a program to do it or have AI create the program for you. And so that's what I did in this case. So Claude helped me write a small Python app. The Python app is the thing that goes out and gets the news from all the different sources and pulls it in, downloads all the headlines, and then it's helped me create a prompt to give to AI to say, okay, you are an expert trader and you are news-based trader and you analyze headlines. I want you to analyze these headlines from perspective of trading Bitcoin and whether or not these headlines are bullish and bearish, and give me a confidence level on your decision and make no mistakes. I always see
Mhm.
people put that in. I don't know if it helps or not because is AI like, oh, I was thinking about making a mistake, but now that you told me not to, I think I won't make any mistakes at this point.
These days, I just burn more tokens by saying, and check with other AI agents.
Ask your friends.
Yeah, or at least for the content side of things, like check with these content skills and all these other marketing things to verify a quality check if this is something I'll actually use.
Yeah. So well, I'm curious. Does that help? Has it
It
helped?
has helped. It has helped because like it's if you just have one AI agent just doing everything, it just wants to get the job done. But then when you see the quality,
Hmm.
it's like we can't use this.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a good idea then. Yeah. Because I've heard people like kind of um, having a group of
Mhm.
AI models and then using a consensus of that, right? And that's actually something you could do with this news app is you can give it to Claude, you can give the headlines to OpenAI, give the headlines to DeepSeek, and then have them discuss and vote
Yeah,
on what it thinks are these bullish or bearish, and then follow what the. So I would be curious if having a consensus based model might help improve anything
yeah.
with
The
this.
the AI crypto council.
Yes. So yeah. So anyway, help it. I had to help me craft the prompt to give to Claude. Now, the thing that AI is being used for, like I said, is to evaluate the headlines and if it thinks that they're bullish or bearish. So so that costs way, way less than if you had AI doing all of this. So if you had AI like going out to fetch the headlines and download them and then give them to another AI model to evaluate them. So the fact that you have a program, downloading the headlines and scraping those and then giving them to AI, the cost is way less. So it costs maybe a couple cents to evaluate every time it evaluates these headlines. So 3 times a day, it's only costing a few cents and it's not using the most advanced AI model that Anthropic has, and you don't necessarily have to. They got a ton of different models available. You can kind of pick depending on how complicated your task is and how much reasoning you're going to need and how complicated the output needs to be. What model you need
Now,
to use?
can we do a quick example for models? So let's say you want your AI to report your papers missing. Would this be like at the haiku level, sonnet, opus?
So this one's tricky. So the missing paper thing is very easy from a standpoint of look at a Telegram channel, and if a message comes in, go to the website and fill it out. So the one gotcha here is that there's a CAPTCHA on the website, and the lower models are not as good at solving the CAPTCHA.
Hmm.
So, so in this case, you would have to probably go with one of the higher end models because of that CAPTCHA. If that CAPTCHA wasn't there, you could totally use the cheap ass
Hmm.
model, and it would be fine. And it's funny because I can, so with the model that I was using, you can see it thinking through its process when it's trying to solve the CAPTCHA.
Hmm.
It says, "Oh, okay, I need to try to pick all the squares that have bicycles in
Yeah,
them."
that's tough
And
for
it's like
humans
I
too.
found right, yeah, exactly. Michael McIntyre, a comedian, did a skit about picking stuff out of captchas, and
Mhm.
he's like, "Is it that? Wait, no, does that have a bus in it?
Yeah,
I can't tell. It's kind of like a corner." And
all the frames that have the bicycle in it. I was like, does it have the handlebar? Does it have this little extension? Yeah.
right, yeah, exactly. So an AI struggles with the same thing. And you can see it thinking through its process as
Mhm.
it's trying to determine if, and this is probably one reason why this task was burning so many tokens, is it's trying to solve the freaking captcha to prove that it's not a machine,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, so that, and then basically the Python program takes that response back that it's getting from AI, and then it makes a trading decision, and it writes the trade to a CSV file so it can you know produce a dashboard at a later point. So that was the extent of it. Now, some of the things that went wrong that you were asking about,
Oh,
right?
before we get into like what went wrong,
Yeah.
so just like a brief like hierarchy of all of this is like, all right, I went into Claude, said I have this idea for creating a news trading bot. I want you to scrape these headlines and then do the opposite. Is that essentially it? And then it just like built out the uh, everything
the,
inside of
the
Claude, or you had to go into other
yeah,
things.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So what I did was I went into Visual Studio Code because I'm like, okay, this is gonna need to be a program, right? So I most likely use Python because it's not going to be a huge application, and Python's easy to run and easy to understand, easier than other languages. So I said, yeah, here's what I want to build. Now, initially, I was thinking of having AI do a lot of that stuff, and it was able to break it down for me and said, hey, you can just get the headlines from Python, download them, and then aggregate them and then give them to Claude. Don't have Claude do all that stuff. So it actually pointed that out, that you didn't have to have Claude go out and search those websites to do that. Um, But yes, basically that was kind of the process of and then the other thing I was like, I want to have a paper trade mode, meaning I kind of want to just mock trade a $10,000 account, and then I also want to have a Paradex mode where I can connect it to my Paradex account and most likely use the API, not the MCP for that. And MCP is the agentic AI interface. Um, and and then if I
Wait,
wanted to trade this live on Paradex, I could then transition it over to do that.
wait. So can you break that down into simpler words? Because a lot of people don't understand these letters.
Yeah, yeah. So like MCP versus API.
Hmm.
Okay, so API is application programming interface. So if you want to talk to Paradex, if you want to talk to any external system for that matter, they give you what's called an API. An API is basically a contract or a language. This is the language we speak. If you want to talk to our systems, here's the lingo that you're going to need to use, right? And so Paradex has that for talking to their systems. If you want to be able to place trades, if you want to get market data, you want to get your account balance, all that stuff. They publish it on their website and their documents. Here's the language you use. This is our API. And for years and years and years and years, this is how developers interacted with other systems. They use the provider's API, and it's worked great. And the thing is too, it's language agnostic, meaning you can use Python, you can use Java, you can use C sharp, you can use Rust, whatever programming language you want to use. These APIs do not necessarily care. So that's awesome because it makes it very easy to interact with these systems. Now, what is new is this thing called MCP. And MCP is a way for AI agents. It's like a contract for AI agents to talk to other systems. So it's like saying, okay, here's the lingo that an AI agent needs to use to talk to your system. Right now, you see a lot of data providers and exchanges and other companies, like even QuickBooks has an MCP interface. So if you want to have an agent talk to your system, you give them an MCP interface. Now, Paradex just released that not too long ago, within the last couple of months, and so it's really cool because that means you can hook things like Claude Desktop up to Paradex, and you can have a conversation. Now, AI agents are great for like natural language type stuff. Like, tell me, you know, show me the top funding rate assets on Paradex right now, sort of thing, right? And it can go and produce a heat map for you and actually create a Claude skill for that. So that's what the MCP is all about. Having AI interact with your system. So there's two flavors now of ways to interact with Paradex and other exchanges. The API, which is kind of old school, but still very useful for if you're writing an application, you're still gonna use the API. And then now there's MCP, which is you know having I mean, the other thing too is AI can use the API
Yeah,
if it
I know.
wanted to. It's just
I'm just saying, but all these letters, like, if you're not
yes,
into like AI, API, it's like, yeah, very
yes.
different
It's
things.
gonna
Yeah.
be it's gonna be a ton of stuff to if you're just getting into AI and you're just getting into like algorithmic trading
Mhm.
and building bots and stuff like that. It's definitely going to be a bit of a learning curve of these acronyms, but this is where AI
Mhm.
accelerates as well, or excels as well. Is that ask it what does this what's the difference between API and MCP? You know, why
Mhm.
would I use one over the other, right? And it does a great job of kind of highlighting those differences. So
Yeah. So great breakdown. Now let's get into the mistakes you made because I know a lot of this isn't easy, especially when you're setting up for the first time.
yeah, so definitely a lot of mistakes. Edge cases are always a bit tough. Even pre AI, edge cases were bad. Now, an edge case is something like, okay, you contact a news source and you don't get a response back, or you get an error back. What happens, right?
Mhm.
So your happy path is kind of you make the call to the news service, you get the results back, and then you kind of go on your way, hand it to AI, and be done with it. But all sorts of errors can happen along the way, right? And not accounting for that uh, is not always easy to do. You kind of have to have some foresight on, like, okay, these are probable errors that might happen, right? But there's some stuff that just isn't like in your kind of field of vision when you're developing it. So one thing would be, uh, Claude API, the call to Claude to get the news headlines. It was, oh, their API was overloaded, so it returned a message saying API is overloaded. So what do you do in that case?
Yeah, it's like, what does that
Just
mean?
you just
What does that mean
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well,
to
it's,
me,
yeah,
to a
it's like
regular
I didn't get an
person?
answer back.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's gonna put you on hold and talk to a
yeah,
representative in 30 minutes.
customer support. Customer.
Yeah. Well, that would be great actually if it connected you with a human if it was too busy at that point.
Or just it just
But
sends you to Sonnet. It's like, oh yeah, just
yeah,
talk
well
to this
that
guy.
yeah, that's actually kind of surprising that they don't give you that option to do you want to have the option to talk to a slightly dumber model,
Yeah,
you know?
it'll entertain you until we fix things on this other side.
Right, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that was one thing. It came back and it's like systems overload. So what do you do then? You know, um, you put in something to just retry it periodically until it works, or you just kind of say, okay, I'm going to go with the whatever the last signal was. If it was bullish, during the Europe Open, I'll just continue with that. So in order to keep this easy, that's kind of what I went with. So I hit that, hit some errors with it, not formatting. So you got to be very, very specific with AI when it returns the data to a program, right? Because the program is going to be very rigid about how it reads the results in the format that those results are in. And if you're not very specific with Claude or whatever AI to say, hey, format the results like this. I need a bracket at the top and a bracket at the bottom, and I want you to separate, the headlines and the confidence score with a comma or a semicolon or something like that. So you have to be very, very specific with AI how to format the output, because if your program is expecting there to be a comma between the headlines and the confidence score and it's a semicolon, then it's going to blow up,
Yeah,
right?
I've even had AI make that mistake. It's like, oh, sorry, my bad. I missed this thing.
Yeah. I was like, you should know better.
Yeah,
Like, what do you
like,
mean you're bad?
yeah,
You're the computer,
yeah.
right?
I was like, get your manager. I'd like to speak to your manager.
Yeah, exactly. This is an outrage.
Yeah,
I want to speak to your manager right now. So, yeah, so that was one mistake. I wasn't specific enough in the prompt, you know, that it was kind of being a little, sometimes it would use one thing to separate those values and sometimes it would use something else, and so the program would blow up and stuff like that. So there's a lot of little stuff like that, right? And that's kind of the normal stuff anyway. When you're developing software, you'll create something and it won't compile. You realize you had a typo in it. And Claude will do that too occasionally. They'll put typos in the
mhm.
program. It happens.
Now, I wanted to ask, how long did it take to set up from idea to actually getting this to trade?
Surprisingly not very long, like maybe a couple hours
Oh,
at the
that's pretty
most.
fast. That's
Yeah, yeah. I was talking to Steamboat last week about something similar, and he's like, "Ah, that's forever." And he's like, somebody coming from a non-software background, thinks maybe, oh, you just type in something in AI and then it just starts working, right? But I don't know if you've ever built anything by hand before. You realize that building this by hand would have been crazy amount of time, a
yeah.
week.
Yeah, it took me a week to just build out this AI clipping thing just because like all these mistakes and all these lessons and all these other things that I found that were better because the initial results were really bad.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, a lot of trial and error, but still the fact that you can build something like this, and then on top of that, putting a freaking dashboard on it that makes it look all pretty, this is just crazy.
Mhm,
This is crazy. Meanwhile, I got another like two Visual Studio Code windows open, and I have those agents, working on something as well. Just what you're able to do as a single individual person now is just mind blowing.
mhm.
So I will say that you like are only limited by your ideas pretty much right now, and time. And that's the other thing too, is like I'm finding I have so many ideas and not enough time to test it. So I got to figure out how to spin up more agents to be working on these ideas for
Agent
me.
entrepreneurs.
Agent entrepreneurs, yes, exactly.
Now, I kind of had
Exactly.
an idea for the whole capture solving. Now, I don't understand the whole
Mhm.
thing behind the scenes, but I know once you have a cookie on your browser, it's not going to continue um, asking you for that capture, correct?
No, this particular website, it's I don't know why they decided to do it this way, but surprisingly, this newspaper does not put the form to submit the missed paper behind a login screen. You don't need to log in to your account to submit this form. It's just on their regular website. And probably because of that, they don't want to get spammed,
Hmm, hmm.
right? So they put the CAPTCHA, even if you filled it out before. I go when I was doing this manually, I'd go back and the CAPTCHA was there the next time. So I don't know why they decided to make this particular design decision, but unfortunately, I can't get around it in this case.
That would have been my next question. Like, all right, how do you get
Yeah,
around some of these blockers so that'll save you
yeah,
a lot more time in the future?
yeah, yeah. So one thing is, I mean, it wouldn't have helped in this case, but the Claude plugin for the browser is a big deal now because it can do a lot of things that if it was running, um, trying to browse the web from Claude Desktop, if it's running an actual browser, a lot of websites will be like, okay, this is a person, not a bot. So if you needed to go scrape something from a website, you could have Claude do that for you as a browser plugin, where it wouldn't have been able to do it if you gave it to Claude Desktop and said, go scrape this data from the website, because the website might be in that first case be like, hey, there's a bot trying to read data,
Yeah,
right?
and it still has a way to go. You know, it can do stuff. It doesn't do it
Hmm.
necessarily well. I saw someone like
Yeah.
trying to train it to like and comment on people's like social media replies, and it would just keep hitting the
Yeah.
heart like over and over, and not move on.
I was curious about that, having to help out with the social
Hmm,
media stuff to see. So yeah, I haven't actually tried it myself to see how good it is at
hmm,
that, but it sounds like it's still not quite there yet.
hmm.
So yeah. Um, so yeah, we could show something else.
Yeah,
I've been having AI vibe code, and let's see here. Let me replace my screen with.
now could we
All right.
zoom in a little bit?
So that is an excellent question. So it's weird if I do Alt mouse scroll, I can zoom in, and it's showing zoomed in on my screen here. I can try maybe doing. Wait, let's see if this.
There we go.
Okay. Okay. So I have an open source library, so I do quite a bit of algo trading. I like to write software that trades different strategies that I have. Now, the thing that's a pain in the ass is we were kind of just talking about APIs, right? And every exchange has an API. Now, the problem is every API is a little bit different. Every language that the exchanges use, their lingo and stuff, is a bit different. Now, that creates an issue because if I want to take my algo and have it run against a different exchange, now I got to teach my algo how to speak in that exchange's lingo, right? And it's a pain in the ass because I don't want to have to rewrite my algo every time I have a new exchange I want to run on. So this library that I've created is basically kind of a translation layer. So the algo just needs to know how to talk to the translator, and then the translator handles the actual communication with the different exchanges. So the translator will know, okay, this is how I talk to Paradex, this is how I talk to Lighter, this is how I talk to Binance, whatever. And so I don't have to modify the algo itself every time I want to run it on something different. Now, the thing is, I want to be able to test this out across all these exchanges and have a way to visually see what's actually going on. And the other thing that's kind of a pain point is if you want to place a trade and you have, accounts on all these different exchanges, you got to go to that exchange's website usually, unless you have some other tool, and place a trade there, monitor the prices, see your account balance. So I was like, it'd be great to have something that was just in one place. I could see my accounts at all these different exchanges. I could place a trade on two different exchanges from the same screen, and I don't have to go to that exchange's website to check in, see the balance, place the trade, all that stuff, see the positions. So I've had Claude help me. I'm basically vibe coding this entire thing. So this is built on top of that library, that translator library I'm talking
Mhm.
about. I was like, Claude, I want to create something, a user interface where a website where I can use this library and talk to all these exchanges and place trades from a dashboard where I don't have to go to each exchange. So this is mostly vibe coded. This is a mostly vibe coded application, which again is blowing me away. And then the thing is too, I was like, oh, I want to make it kind of look like a Bloomberg terminal, right? I want to use the same theme and colors and stuff like that. And just the fact that I took something that was kind of plain looking and it was able to create the style sheets and the HTML that needed to be done in order to make it look somewhat like a Bloomberg terminal or Bloomberg inspired terminal is just, again, like this is something that would have just taken a team of people like months to do,
Yeah.
right?
And how long did it take you?
And this is probably a few hours worth of work. Yeah. So the underlying library was a lot of work.
Yeah.
The UI here to hook into that library and get the prices and be able to place the trades, that was still like hours of work.
I feel that this will
But
take. I feel like this would take anyone else without that experience significantly longer. So if you want this dashboard, comment chai for the secret sauce. I don't
yeah,
know
it's
if we
open
actually have that
source.
set up, but
Yeah, well, yeah, right now it's open source, meaning if you want to go out to GitHub, you can download the code and run it yourself. Um, I could make a compiled version or have this installed somewhere out on the web because people might find this useful for themselves as well, right?
yeah, this could actually be a really nice
So
website for people.
yeah, yeah. So the thing I love about this too, that makes it really cool for stuff I do, because like looking at arbitrage type trades,
Mhm.
where there's a price discrepancy between exchanges, like you can see right here where exactly it's priced at the different exchanges. Now, Bitcoin probably not going to be a huge price difference, between different exchanges. But it's like, what's another coin that has been
ETH,
kind of hot
Solana.
lately?
Oh,
That
oil. It's just
like
oil.
some what's that?
Oil.
Oh, oil. Yeah, we could take a look at BZ actually. So the cool thing is you type in the ticker
Mhm.
and it'll show you all the exchanges that list it, right? And it sorts it by asset types. Oh, that's actually like the other thing. Paradex options. I should test out to see if they're actually working in here. So if you want to like look at option prices, you could do that. Perpetual futures, spot, um, and then all the different exchanges that are currently supported. So if we want to just look at BZ, and BZ is Brent crude, you can see where it's trading at these different exchanges. The other cool thing is it's showing the funding rate here, and then the bid and ask. So you can see, well, spread's pretty wide on Paradex at the moment, but everything's roughly in line
Hmm.
with BZ.
Could we get a quick short hook here? It was like, I made this
Yeah.
dashboard to help me make money.
I made this dashboard to help me make money.
There we go. We'll cut that into a clip for
Yeah.
you.
Let's I'm curious people's comments as they're watching us do these
I mean, we got some, but I think it's better to build through clips. We have Perp Chat in the comments. Judaim, we'll we're building out new features for other people who are interested in using AI to trade on decentralized exchanges like Paradex and options too. Like, this, what can we do with this? Because options is just very overwhelming to the regular person.
Yeah. So yeah, typically what you'll see with options, because we got a zillion different ticker symbols here,
Yeah.
right? Um, you would see more ways to filter down options, right? So you could say, oh, I just want to see calls, or I just want to see puts, or I just want to see the April expiration, something like that. Actually, I wonder if there's a way to just search by what would April? Oh, May is probably there's
Oh
probably
yeah,
no
April's
April
over. Yeah, this is the
expiration.
last day. DT. This is yeah.
This is so maybe one. Okay, here we go. 1st of May. And Bitcoin's at roughly what right now? 70.
76452. Luckily, we got a ticker on on the stream.
Oh, we got the ticker. That's right.
Yeah,
76452. So let's do these strikes here. Let's just see if
Oh,
let's see if this works. This is going to be a real-time test.
you can add multiple.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Now, part of the thing is the labels. So this is going to be
Because
something that's going to need some work. The
hmm
labels are super long, but we're getting prices,
hmm
so that's awesome.
yeah,
Okay. So labels. So this is one of the things like you kind of start running stuff, you run into issues, right? And then you tell AI, this is what exactly what I would do with AI if I was developing right now and making modifications to this. I'd be like, hey, so the ticker symbols for the options are really long. They're overrunning everything else. Can you make a suggestion on how to display these so it doesn't do that? So one thing, it might make the column wider, or it might just abbreviate it. And then we got some other overrun stuff right here. Dang, is that spread right? 27 basis points or 2,700 basis points? Um, I don't think these numbers are right,
it could be
but
the um. We're still working on getting more market makers. I don't know. I've seen some like bad spreads so far, but
yeah,
depends on
well,
like
it's a
if
good spread if
there's
you're a market
volume.
maker.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean these particular strikes aren't showing any volume right now,
Hmm.
so it could be that these
Yeah.
are. But yeah, that's the kind of the other thing too that would be helpful. I feel like because when I'm on the Paradex website looking at options, I'd be like, okay, I want to see the ones that show me the ones with volume, right?
Yeah.
Show me filter out anything that's got more than 10K in volume
Hmm.
today or something like that, and that way you're just viewing the actual like active um, options
Yeah.
contracts. But yeah, I mean the fact that I was able to pull this up and I haven't really tested this out is pretty cool. So yeah, so I'd make some tweaks to how this is rendering it, and then kind of go from there. And then the other thing too is like you can put your so you can set up your account so you can put your API trading key in to the app, right? For if you actually want to place trades. So right now everything is like read only. So you can get all the data as far as the pricing and everything goes without needing to actually have an account at these exchanges. Now, if you want to actually do trading and get your account balance and stuff like that, you'd create an API key on in your account and then put the API key into the app, and then it's going to be able to sync the data with your actual account, so you can see your balance, you can see your positions, you can place and modify orders, and all that good stuff.
Now, with
So
out of curiosity, since you can see multiple platforms, can Claude do arbitrage trading for you? I think we froze.
yeah,
Oh, there we go. We're back.
yeah. I just got a message saying connection lost, but I could still see you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think just temporary technical difficulties. I did want
Yeah.
to ask, like,
Did we?
go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. I was just wondering, did we lose the connection to the stream, or did you lose the connection to me?
Oh yeah, my internet is bad. I think because they're doing construction next door, and I don't know.
Oh
Maybe
wow.
they're hitting something. Um, so while we're online, I wanted to ask, could you do automated arbitrage trading between exchanges using Claude?
Yes. So the answer is yes, you could. Now the question is, should you?
Like human transmutation.
We spent so much time asking if we could. We never spent the time to ask if we should
Mhm,
do that or not. Now, I would be okay. I've kind of mentioned this before. I would be feel very uneasy about giving AI access to do any sort of automated trading for me. It's kind of like I said, having an intern working for you.
mhm,
You know, are you going to give your intern $100,000 account and say, "Hey, I want you to play some arbitrage trades for me." Now, this intern's really smart and everything, right? But how much do you actually trust this intern to do the right thing?
mhm.
Always. Make
Yeah,
no mistakes. Make no mistake, especially if you don't tell it to make no mistakes, because then it might make a mistake, right?
yeah.
So, yeah, so this is how I would approach it personally. I mean, you could definitely. So the thing too is if you have AI monitoring the prices, you're going to be burning tokens at that point, right? Now I'd have AI help me write a application that say, okay, monitor the prices on these exchanges and help me create a model or an indicator to notify me or place a trade when the the prices diverge by this much, right? So I'd have
Mhm,
AI help me build the app, but I don't think I'd have AI actually do the monitoring and the trading for me. Um, yeah, I've just seen stories where people gave very explicit instructions to AI
mhm,
about trading. One guy is like, I don't want to go above 5x leverage on it, right? And it was very clear. And then the AI went to, 15x or 20x leverage. And then he asked the AI, hey, what the hell are you doing?
I had a
And
good
it said,
feeling.
well, this
Yeah, I had
opportunity
a good
looked,
feeling. I
this,
thought we were
yeah,
gonna win.
it said something like, yeah, this opportunity looked really good. And I thought it was a good idea to up the leverage a bit. So yeah, I don't know. I would just be very uncomfortable with AI potentially going rogue on me, you
Mhm.
know. Although it'd be an interesting experiment. Give AI a vault on Paradex.
I
And
think you should try that. The Fueled by Chai vault. The Fueled by Chai
we could do that. We could do that.
AI intern vault.
Claude the intern.
Yes. I think
Yeah,
that
I
would
could
be
do that.
popular.
Come up with a hypothesis or a strategy here, or trading idea.
Maybe we'll
Give it
make
a
it
vault.
a competition. I'll make one too, and then my prompt will be just
Yeah,
be do your best. Just do your best,
yeah.
Claude.
Just make money. Just
Yeah.
make money.
Please don't lose.
Make no
Mhm.
mistakes.
Anyway, with that, we are just about at an hour. I think we can wrap things up. Any things you want to close on?
Well, let's yeah, I'm open to trading theories for an AI trading vault. So if somebody wants to DM me or just comment on my X account, got something that you think that would be cool to try to implement with AI, and we can put some live money and have it trade in a vault. And then trading in a vault basically means traders and investors can follow along and contribute their own capital to the vaults and trade along with the bots, basically, right? So if this thing does well, you'd make money, and if it doesn't, then you lose money. But that's kind of how the vaults work. But the cool thing about the vaults too is that the performance is published, right,
Hmm.
to the public, so everybody sees exactly how the trading is going. So
Now, my idea for a vault here is a counter trader to Machi Big Brother and James Wynn, because they got called out on the account by Look on Chain as some of the worst traders in crypto. I was like, all right,
yes.
find what they do on
Oh my
chain,
God.
counter trade, stop losses, and
How
take
how
profits.
many how many times a week do those guys get liquidated?
It's a. I think it's not even a joke anymore. People just feel bad. It's like, come on, man, you should probably stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I like that idea. So I think you should go for that.
Counter trading the worst traders in crypto.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Or yeah, you can filter it down by following that what is that whale trader
oh yeah, yeah.
the that account that tells you basically who's getting liquidated, who's
Hmm.
making big trades and all that stuff. You could probably
Follow those trends and
well,
just
they
like,
never
all right,
publish the
try to squeeze out like a 5% trade on each one.
yeah, yeah. But although they never I don't know if they ever go back and tell how those trades ended up performing. They just say, "Oh, this trader moved,
Hmm.
50
Hmm.
million into ETH today," and
I've
so
seen that, and I was like, that did not go well for them.
right, yeah, exactly, exactly.
All right, so let's that's it for today. We'll continue next week. If you have questions, if you want the secret sauce that Rob has been building, comment Chai. We'll turn this into a clip, so we'll turn it into something. We'll see if Claude can
Yes.
respond with the links to everything.
All right, cool.
All right,
Awesome talking to you and everybody else, and have an awesome week,
and
awesome weekend.
time for the outro. Bye, guys.